Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's cool. So hey guys, thanks for joining us. I just threw it up there. It wasn't that long ago at all, like maybe 45 minutes ago, that we were going to go live. And this might be something we do a little bit more regular. Lee, we stopped doing the Monday Mayhem thing because we're going to go on Whatnot. We'll maybe talk about that a little bit here later. Um, but we didn't want to lose, like, some of our discussions, because some of our discussions have been pretty decent, as we kind of was waiting for breaks to fill and that sort of thing. So we really got the four of us here or whatever. Well, three of us right now, but we have like four of us or whatever, and a lot of us have been in it different amounts of times, different ages, seen a bunch of different things, and have different takes on the hobby and different specialties, I guess, in the hobby. So one of the things I guess we'll start with is this going live on Facebook right now, and it being more like our friends and fans and family and that sort of thing. One of the big things in this area will be the Circleville show this coming Sunday, August 9th. And I just got was just communicating with the school. The banners are in, so we're kind of upgrading, doing some banners and that sort of thing. And also, we are officially sold out. Scott and I were crunching the numbers earlier and saying that I think we're done here. And yep, so it'll be 115 tables, a good amount of Pokemon, at least 40 of those tables will be Pokemon, leaving about 75 of those to be sports cards. I mean, the first one, let's talk about that first. So, what was your guys' take of the first Circleville show? And then we'll kind of talk about what we can expect at this one. Whoever wants to jump in.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was wondering if I was above you and yours as well.
Yeah, it's like the Brady Bunch thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Tickle,
Nikki,
tickle, tickle.
Nick gets to go.
From my perspective, I think it was a great turnout the first show. You know me, I do shows anywhere from South High that has 30 something tables, or Xenia that's got 400 tables. So I've kind of seen and set up at anything and everything between. So for me, Circleville was really good. It's even better when I live right around the corner, so I don't have to travel too far. But
Yeah.
me personally, I got a lot of great feedback from friends that attended, and even some of the guys that I just deal with. Hey, when's the next Circleville show going to come out? So I think a lot of people were looking forward to it, and I'm glad that we were able to get it going again.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with you. And just throw my 2 cents in there. I was, I mean, was I hoping for 400 or 500 people? Yes, I was. But really still kind of shocked that, 500, 600 ish is, what we think that one ended up at. So anybody else got any thoughts about the last one before I throw some stuff out there?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was excellent from my perspective, and it really probably exceeded my expectations going in. You know, you can say we're going to do this, and you have this build up, and some of us know these conversations, especially for that show. Those conversations behind the scenes have been going on for a couple of years. And so to kind of finally see it all happen and for it to be what I consider kind of a home run for a show, especially right out of the gate, I don't know that you could have asked for much better. So I think, it's exciting to have, like Nick said, it's exciting to have a show super close because it's only 10 minutes for me. And so that's a huge positive. And it's exciting what's going on with the school there. Kind of you're starting to see that pop up around. Like I saw Nelsonville York has one, and of course Grove City, and I think I've seen one in Hilliard maybe. So that's good. It's good to see that those are being used for a positive purpose to help the schools and different functions in the community.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
was just gonna say before. Oh,
okay.
Bill, go ahead.
Okay, so I would say this: there is a plethora of card shows. Like, you can't go a day on a weekend where there's not a card show now, because everybody's realized that all you gotta do is say, "Hey, card show," and people show up, and people pay extra money, and will grab tables and stuff like that. I am glad. Me and Rob have, you guys have talked about it for a while. Me and Rob have talked about this for probably 20 years, about having a show in Circleville. But we didn't have connections with Circleville High School or any of the Circleville schools that we do now. Um, so Rob with Matt McLaughlin able to figure something out was great. A really good
Hmm.
turnout, and I'm glad that the money, at least with ours, were very um, transparent that the money is going to a school fund and not just in someone's pocket because they're trying to make money off of it. So.
Yeah, yeah, and no, I agree. I remember looking, it was 15 years ago at a hotel here in town, and it just, I always thought, it wouldn't be enough to get people, 20 tables in a hotel or whatever. I felt like it wouldn't get enough, be enough to get people here. But honestly, about 60 tables is about where I start to get overwhelmed. So I'm very thankful that I get to do what I get to do. I get to organize. I got Scott helping organize. He was a big help this time. So if you got a lot of complaints, you can throw them at Scott too. But he was a big help getting it organized and everything. But I get to do what I can do, market it and help organize it and get the contacts to get dealers. But the school's doing a lot of the work, and so they deserve a lot of the money. But that combination of the schools, sharing the posts and all that, it is great. And I'm very thankful for that show. And I'm hoping we're going to have a good time this weekend, and just be able to. For me, I'm hoping that I'm not so anxious or whatever, trying to do everything, that I can kind of play the mayor. That's kind of what I like to do the day of the show, is make sure everybody's doing good and taken care of and that sort of thing. So that's this Sunday. Um, so we'll kind of switch gears here, and we're not going to have a lot of comment on this. As far as, all we can do is report what we heard. I don't believe, none of the four of us went to the national this year. Bill has been to a few. I've been to one, and but what we're hearing, it anyway, is that, from the few people that did come in the shop, that did go, and other dealers we know, is that this national was possibly the biggest ever. And it seems like that's a reoccurring theme. Like, this one was bigger, this one was better, this one was. And so, first of all, what have you guys heard about the national? Have you heard the same thing as far as attendance, size, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I mean, basically, if you had any goats in your collection that you were looking for or wanting to sell, this was the time to do it. People were, we have a person we know that went in there literally with half of, not even a full Zion box, and got mid five figures for a box. And when I say mid, I'm actually meaning mid, and it's literally, you're talking 30 cards,
Mhm.
and he just casually collects. He's maybe more aggressive than some people I know, but he casually collects, and this is stuff
Mhm.
that people were needing. They needed a, they were paying, book. They were paying
Mhm.
market because anticipating something, and they so I mean, from all the videos I've seen, it's been ridiculous. I mean, it's almost, the bad thing is, like, anytime anything is so strong,
Mhm.
so even if the market slows down a little bit, it shows weakness, even though it's not weak, but it appears weak. So it will cause people to not want to put more money into it. So
Mhm.
it's like a shooting star. Shines really bright as soon as it's done, and there's no more
Mhm.
back. Hopefully that's not what the market will do.
Mhm. What do you guys think about this thought? And this is, something that I think a customer was kind of saying. Do you think this is the big time for the hobby? Like, you go into the Fanatics Fest, you go into the National. Do you any of you see a cool off in the next 3 to 5 months? Let's go with that.
No.
So, Mike, you don't. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I don't see a cool off. Personally, I don't. I mean, I don't think you're going to start to notice anything until something else changes economically. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I won't say that we're in a great economy, but I feel like we're at a point where nothing's chaotically happening. And so until something causes people to change their spending or their, their incomes get reallocated somewhere else or whatever, I think the hobby is going to be what the hobby is till something shifts. You know what I mean? And there's bigger players, like I was telling you guys in the shop. There's people all the time, celebrities and bigger money out there that's moving into the hobby every day. So, and how that affects some of us that collect regular, what I call low end or mid range things, I don't know that it affects us much, but I still think it keeps the train moving down the track at the same speed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, Nick, you got anything on that? Thoughts?
As far as cooldown, this is strictly speaking from I guess the singles perspective that I'm more involved with. If there is going to be a cooldown, I don't think it's the one that we've heard over the last couple months, specifically the winter, if you will.
Winter is coming. Yes.
To Mike's point, I think that right now, with how there is not something astronomically chaotic going on, we're just kind of in the middle of seeing a growth, if you will. I mean, if the National was, and I know a few people that went, something that we've seen more of. It's just maybe it's people are getting more to the networking side of it. We're seeing more of that from just the big time celebrities that set up and show up. It's just more people involved. I know a couple families that went, and it was just an experience for them, and I was glad that they got to go. There's a lot of people that go, and fortunately, if you're in Chicago, you might get to check out a baseball game. So there's a lot of pros to it. I think that there might be a slowdown with some point of it, but again, not like the quote the winter that we had heard before.
Hey, so on what Mike was saying, I agree. I mean, I don't think so. The money that's coming in, they're not going to buy it, trying to buy like, hey, I want a King Griffey Jr. base card. They're not. They're for that. They want upper deck PSA 10s. They want autographs. They want the stuff that you cannot buy and get out of packs unless you are freaking amazingly lucky. Some people hit $10,000 cards like it's nothing, but I don't. If someone doesn't hit a $10,000 card, you don't know how quick that market is. So the bad thing is people are opening packs and boxes and blasters and megas and bringing them in and trying to sell us stuff. The problem is they're not bringing me stuff I can sell. They're bringing me stuff that they can't sell. They've already went to Card Collector 2. They've already went to Father and Sons. They've already went to these places, and they're like, well, maybe they'll buy it. And then they come in and act like that's the best they got. And I'm like, well, it is the best they got, but I don't need it. I can buy it off eBay for prices cheaper than what you want for it. So it's like, if you quality stuff, the problem is you can't hit Jordan in a Bulls uniform right now. You can't hit Kobe anything. Kobe does not have a card coming out at all. That's the reason the market's going for that. Now, Otani's kind of weird because Otani has plenty of cards coming out, but it's just the amount that's coming out of them, and the people just keep on buying them. So I think the Otani market could get oversaturated, in my opinion. But as for the actual goats, current goats of Jordan, Jordan and Kobe and Tom Brady, their stuff's not going to go down anytime soon.
Yeah, so I got two questions. So I'll hit this. This first one is just short, very quick response. How much of the growth that we're seeing in the hobby do you think Fanatics can take credit for?
Or about the good side of the growth or the bad side of the growth?
I mean, I don't know. Is there bad side to growth? Is that just more, are you saying the industry, the gambling side of it kind of?
Yeah, the entry point into stuff. Somebody can't come in and buy a box for a couple $100 used to and be happy. Or if you spend $100 on a box and you get $20 cards, a lot of times that doesn't break you. But when you're talking $500 minimum on boxes of cards, and that's what people make a week. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
it's not a kid's hobby anymore. It's basically pushed off to, if you're going to afford to do it, you have to spend money. And it's not like I've told Rob, and I've told almost everybody, I hate the current sports card market. I love card collecting, and I've sold cards and bought cards for years, but I also collected, and these people do not know how to do that. All they knew is, I know how to open packs, and I don't want to do the work to sell it. So I'll short sell it to you, and hopefully you do the work. Well, I'm like, if I'm buying your problem, it's going to cost you. So
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. I would think that Fanatics, I mean, you can't beat their marketing. I mean, I know it's a $4 billion company or whatever, but their marketing and all the things that they do to try to get you interested in what's currently being released and stuff, they do a pretty good job. And the customer access program, which used to be Retail Reserve, uh, I do think it's getting families to come in, and they love the idea that they can buy 3 Chrome blasters, at a little over $100 and things like that. I think Fanatics has done a good job. So, anybody else got any opinions about that? Go ahead, Nick.
I will say to answer your question, how much credit do we give Fanatics, for the growth? And to Bill's point, there is pros and cons to both sides. But I do think it's trying to stay polite, if you will. The pros, there are a lot of pros, and this comes from someone who deals with a lot of baseball, basketball, football. Uh, it's just right now that's who Tops has, and that's where the licensing is at. But it's there are an unfortunate part, like Bill said, you can't come in and buy a box for a couple $100 anymore and be happy with that box majority of the time. Um,
Mhm.
but you would ask me a question, I think it was last week or the week before about um, thoughts on flagship. Everything that I've seen, there's new stuff coming along with flagship. Parallels, inserts, that kind of stuff that we don't see in the year after year baseball and the oncoming football. It's newer stuff, and I thought that's what they had to do to attract people back to the new products. So I guess in summary, I will give a decent amount of credit because we also know that Fanatics is involved more than just the selling of boxes, if you will.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. I will say that I kind of feel like when it was just Tops, under the control of Tops, it was kind of the same old, same old, year after year. And especially if they were going to make that move and, come in and replace Panini on some of those things, and make a real go of it, it was going to take more aggressive things. So I've got a question for Mike, and this might let him kind of share how he feels, I guess, about Tops in general. How would you feel, Mike, because we know where you're at. You're in racing. That's all Panini controlled right now. You know, F1 is the only thing not really under their wing. How would you feel if Topps acquired the rights to do racing? How would you think that would go, or how would you feel about that?
The honest answer is probably sick to my stomach.
Okay.
Now I laugh and I say that because I kind of experienced that transition with WWE. That's the other lane that I play in is WWE a lot, and I've experienced what that transition is like from Panini to Topps, and the two things I will say, if that were to happen with NASCAR and or with WWE the way it went, I do think it's great that Topps does a much better job of getting products out, even in the less exciting sports like WWE, for example. They're definitely putting out more products than what Panini was. Granted, they're twice as expensive, but they are getting it out. You know what I mean? And they do make, compared to Panini, Topps does make an excellent product. They also have really good customer service compared to Panini. So there's, it's kind of one of those, you get what you pay for. I just don't want to pay for it. That's all. So, to touch on the previous thing about how much do you think Fanatics contributes to the growth, I actually think Fanatics has a lot to do with a lot of the growth. And just look at Fanatics Fest, for example. That didn't exist 3 years ago. And it's not, I'm hearing it regularly in conversation, especially this week, about, do we have the National and Fanatics Fest? Is one bigger than the other? Are they, for Fanatics to take something that didn't exist and put it in the same conversation as the National, in my eyes, is huge. And so, what Fanatics has done, granted, I don't always have the nicest things to say. What they have done, though, especially like you said, with their marketing, is pretty impressive. So,
when you have unlimited money to work with, there's a lot of stuff that can be done. But no, I agree. I agree with you 100% on that. But it's the bad thing about that is it's they can't. The Fanatics Fest and all that. I think the event's good, but it's not really a card show. Even there is a card show attached to it. It's
correct.
Expo, and hey, there just happens to be this room over here with a couple guys with cards. Now, because there's really people there with cards, those people that have are getting crazy money. But you also have doctors, lawyers, bankers. I'm not saying the person that works at McDonald's. It's not the person that is driving your school bus, your kids to school and stuff like that. You're talking professionals that are like, hey, I have money and I think this is a safe investment. And and they should take their money there, But with anything as an investment, not everything stays up.
That's true. And I thought maybe we might talk about this a little bit longer than I'm going to talk about this. I kind of decided to just axe it out because I felt like other people were talking about this, but we'll just mention three different things that go on in our hobby every year. There's the Topps Conference, there's Fanatics Fest, and there is the National Sports Collectors Show, And so just to keep it really simple, the Topps Conference is literally for breakers and shop owners. It's a business side. It really is about that kind of thing. It has no chance of ever being a card show or anything like that. It really shouldn't even be mentioned in the discussion. Then there's Fanatics Fest, which it's a fan expo. That's the simplest way to look at it. It is great for the sports fan, but the National is not going to have a rival as far as for the collector. The collectors are there in full force, and it is a different thing. They can both exist. They can both exist for sure, but definitely that I think that's the simplest way to look at it. That the national is just a different animal kind of thing. So just trying to move the discussion along and not to backtrack a little bit because there's a couple other things, but Nick mentioned the winter is coming thing, and as Bill said, we're pretty transparent, and I'm wrong. I try to say, hey, I'm wrong. If I'm mistaken about something, I try to say it. So I just want to throw out names. The winter is coming. Gary V is one of them that he actually said that in the Tops conference. Guys, be prepared. Winter is coming. Mike Geo, which I would say is not Gary V level, but bigger on social media, has Gary V on, kind of agrees with Gary V. There's going to be some kind of correction. Let's go with that. And so it's really to set up this background, and Bill and I think can speak about this a little bit more, is you can't fault the Gary V's or even Mike or Mike Geo or me, because we haven't seen anything like this. Like we are not used to. I can't think, and I was talking to Bill about this the other day, I can't think of 2 summers in a row that there was no really significant downturn that you could see. And matter of fact, from April, you kind of began to see it going up as it went through the summer. So we're just on kind of in uncharted territory right now with the hobby. And I think we do have to agree, at some point, somebody's going to get stuck holding, the cookie jar or however you want to, say that. So it's just trying to figure that out. So I'll ask this as a double question. How long do you think this can continue on before there's a serious difference? Now, Mike kind of already answered that. He thinks it needs something seriously different in the economy. So maybe that's your answer. And how cautiously are you personally buying over the next 3 to 5 months? Let's say that.
I'll start.
Good.
So, I think, like I already said, I don't think it's going to be anything that happens unless there's a major change in our economic situation. It may not be until we get another presidential election or maybe some new legislation that shifts the way something's done in our economy or something like that. But for me personally, buying, I collect stuff that I put in a dollar range of anywhere from $5 to $500. And when you get to $500, like I've had this conversation with people many times, I don't have many cards worth more than $500. I just don't. And as a dealer, when I'm set up at the shows, like this weekend, I'll have this conversation many times with people that'll walk up to me with downtowns or kabooms. And as tempted as I might be to buy one to try to flip it, I have this conversation all the time. I tell people I buy things between $20 and $200 at shows because that's where I'm comfortable. I feel like there's minimal risk involved. And I'm not trying to necessarily make a living off of doing that. So, I'm just trying to keep my hobby side hustle going, if you will, enough to be able to continue collecting. So that's the lane I try to stay in and the levels I try to play at. And I don't try to get beyond that. So that's where I'm at with it.
Go ahead, Nick.
Bill must be building up over there to let me go before him. He must not. No steam's coming out of the ears yet. So
he's cooking a good one.
For me, and Rob, you and I have talked about this a couple times. For me, for there to be the winter coming, if you will, I have to see something that says cards, despite being a piece of cardboard, are going to be exactly that.
Mhm.
A lot of cards are revolved around some kind of value outside the collectors or the flippers or whatever, the control by sports players, by athletes, by celebrities. There's many factors that cause this market to either go up and down. For there to be something that says, "Hey, the winter's coming." I'm not a shop owner. I can't speak on the box side of it, but unless all sports come to a hold, I just don't see that big winter coming. At least in the sports side of it. Now, there are things like ongoing talks about the lockout for baseball next year.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, if you're investing in guys who you think that hey, they're pretty close to a World Series, I don't know if
Mhm.
buying for next year's that win, if you will. For the
Mhm.
guys who buy prospects or guys that are more of the collector side, I don't see that as the downfall. As far as the
Mhm.
market taking some kind of toll to affect the average collector would be just box prices soaring up, in my opinion, which is only,
Mhm.
as we've seen, push people to the single side.
Mhm.
So that's really all I have on that. I'm not too involved in the business side and the crunching numbers, but I mean, in simple term, if I'm buying a card that is going to invest in,
Mhm.
my goal is either A, I'm selling it soon within the next couple weeks because I intend the value to go up, or I'm buying someone like, let's say, Jacob Mizorowski that has, probably a good 10 years ahead of him. So,
Mhm.
but that's just my side.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say this. Now, I don't have a ton of $500 plus cards, but I definitely have some. I assure you, they didn't start out $500. I bought them because I collect, I prospect. I put stuff back. Otani's. I probably, when it was all said and done, when Otani started like jumping up, I mean, I probably had 200 cards sitting back. Now, were they all prisms and pink refractors? No, no, no. It was just base cards. But I knew that I bought them at $1 a piece. I'm fine with that. That's, if $1's going to break you, then you shouldn't be in the hobby now at all, honestly.
Mhm.
But you you take your wins when you can get your wins. Now, I basically, if it's something I like, I don't really care what the price is. I just buy it. If I like it and I want it, I'm going to buy it off the customer. Now,
Mhm.
on towns, kabooms, case hits, and stuff like that, to work on hey, they want 85%. No, that's if I can't sell it in here in my shop, and anybody walks in that wants to buy downtown in Kaboom, they're like the first thing they say is they don't ask what the condition is. They say, "Hey, I need room." It's not even a question; it's a statement. I need room, and it's like I don't care what room you take. I got a bathroom and I got an office, but I'm not giving you my room. So, and if I can't sell it in my shop, or I don't have a side deal with Great Sports Cards or Brent Shannon, who will be
Print.
at Circleville show this weekend on Sunday.
Yes, you will.
But like them, I can call them up, and be like, "Hey, are you interested at 85%?" They're like, "Yeah, I'll buy it." They'll Venmo me. They'll come pick it up in a couple weeks or whenever they have time. Stuff like that. A quick flip's fine to me, but I'm not going to that card at 80% and then end up have to sell it on eBay. I lose 13% to eBay. Plus, then I have to claim it on my taxes, which usually ends up about 6% more. So I'm not paying 80% to make 80% on something I don't particularly want in my personal collection. Just That's what I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that kind of leads me to uh, another question I had. Um, so out at the National this year. I was watching one guy kind of review it. I was watching a couple guys review it, but one guy was pointing out that Dragon Ball Z had grown, that he could see the presence of Dragon Ball Z way more. Now, 6 months ago, we had a friend tell us you need to look up and attention to Dragon X TCG thing, which was interesting. But also Battle Arena, the Bo Jackson Battle Arena stuff, I just sampled, got some of it. It went up. So I know I'm just talking about products, but do you guys think there are still okay out there? If the policy, that Bill and Bobby always talk about in the shop is kind of hit them where they ain't. Is there stuff out there that you guys still think are valuable, or are we at the absolute height?
With the market money that seems to be coming in, you're basically, it's not on our term to decide what the market is. It's the person that's out there spending the money. They control that, their dime controls my selling ability. So I really can't have a opinion on what I'm buying unless I know I have it sold. So it's like, I can choose my battles. But it is not that with the money that's out there right now, you could collect anything. But I also, as a shop owner, or associated with the shop at least, I don't want to get into Dragon Ball Z because I don't want to have a bunch of money in Pokemon either. I don't collect Pokemon. Well, I had Pokemon. I do have a base Charizard, Venusaur, and a Blastoise. I want to get graded. I'd like to have a match set, even if it's a 4. I just want that for my personal collection because I remember in 1999, 2000 having them. Other than that, I don't care about one other Pokemon card in the world, and I'm not going to get stuck with them when the market declines. And the reason the market declines is because everybody's realized they can't make a living off of it.
So, yeah, what about you two? I don't want you to give your secrets out. Obviously, you don't want to be like, I'm buying this guy exactly, but do you still feel like there's stuff out there that hasn't reached its potential?
I think this is a layup for me, because being in the NASCAR world, NASCAR is extremely, how do you say it, low cost compared to the other sports. The boxes, our boxes of select hobby are $130, $150. Prisms $150. National Treasures is $350 to $450. So for where I'm at and the sport that I play in, I think there's still growth there. And I'm starting to see that happen month over month. Singles sales of some of the bigger NASCAR cards are starting to trend that direction. And it's the kind of climb that you want to see, where it's just gradual, it's not like a straight up kind of thing. But I see it in there's other sports and other players out there. I'll tell you a couple guys that I'm buying because I don't mind saying it out loud. I don't think there's any big secret. But two of the guys that I've been buying all summer are CJ Stroud and Will Howard. Because for me, as a local dealer in this area, they're both Buckeyes. There's always going to be desirability with them no matter what happens with them in the NFL. CJ Stroud's coming off a really down season last year. And Will Howard is not going to be the starter as long as Aaron Rodgers is in Pittsburgh. So they both have at least some upside in the future. And you can get a lot of stuff, a lot of their stuff really, really affordable. So those are two guys that I've been buying that I think have a lot of upside, and they're just in the, in the Buckeye realm, so to speak.
So, Nick, I know you know baseball the best. Do you feel like there's a couple guys that are worth picking up?
Well, I can tell you who I'm not
I mean, you
picking
don't
up.
name them, but yeah, yeah.
Do
Poor
they all
Nick.
have birds? Do they all have birds on their uniforms by chance?
Well, some, but the point, kind of just overall topic, if you will. I think that depending on where you are, there's a buyer for anything and everything. I can't tell you probably Caitlin Clark's rookie year, how many people came up and started asking for Caitlin Clark cards.
Mhm.
I don't collect WNBA, but it was, if you had already been invested, it was the time of your life when everyone was looking for Caitlin Clark cards. Topps Chrome Disney came out last year. I wasn't big into non-sports, and I can't tell you how many times people were looking to complete this set or this parallel of a Disney character. I think that there are some markets that have growth potential, but I think that there are a few obvious markets that kind of reign supreme, if you will. I think that that's where the kind of growth of the hobby has come into play. We're seeing people collect new things. There's been new products coming out. I think we just 2 weeks ago, the Tom and Jerry box that we opened. That was really cool. That was something that I hadn't seen before, and I was hoping that there. I'm sure you as well, hoping that there were people going to come in and rip open that so you could see some more of it. I kind of just correlate it to, again, if the hobby is growing and there's people out there willing to pay something for something they want, then it's, quote, an untapped market if you're not already in the hip of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Side note is we're out of Tom and Jerry cards, and
No,
I
well,
only opened the one box. Yeah. So that. Yeah, there's a market for. We just got Stranger Things today. Same company, Stranger Things. So I mean, yeah, there's a market for some of that stuff. So just kind of switching gears here, getting away from the national, and just talking about a couple products that coming out this week that both have a little bit of stories attached to them. So Topps Chrome Baseball Megas hit Wednesday. Now they're not part of any kind of retail reserve or anything, so I imagine if you find them in your local hobby shop, like this local hobby shop, probably going to be 80 to 100. I mean, that's just a ballpark of throwing that out there. Now, here's the question attached to it. We all know that the big cards got hit, one of the biggest chases, being the Otani, but then the Aaron Judge card was hit too, I believe. So, how much do you think? We won't even say the retail side. We'll just talk about the hobby. Do you now take a hit because of those two massive cards being pulled? Okay. Nick,
Okay.
that was just saying 100%. So someone else
100%.
can.
Yes.
So can't afford to buy the box. Hopefully, doesn't buy. If you can afford to blow $600 to $1,000 a box, and you think you can still hit stuff, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But it's the person that's using their paycheck. Like me and Robert talked about this a long time. It's like just your budget isn't how much you can put on your credit card without bouncing your credit card. That is not a budget. A budget is you can afford to spend it. If you're doing that, less likely that you're going to take that chance to get that big card because it's been hit. Now, if you're a person, but in any ways, you're disappointed, but you're probably open it because you can. I think the price goes down. I mean, if whatnot breakers, like whatnot breakers really get me because it's like they're breaking boxes all the time. I wish I heard something. I heard somebody else is going to start breaking on there too. But whatnot, it allows a person to get in at a reasonable price for a team. I get that part of it, but when you're talking about an individual coming in and buying a single box for $600 and $700, I see a lot less of that happening.
Yeah. Now 600 and 700, just to be fair, would be a jumbo box. That wouldn't have been, a hobby box. But Mike, do you have anything on that?
I think that when you have a new product and two of the biggest cards get hit right off the rip and pretty publicly like they were, I do think that will affect the price some, for sure. It has to. It just makes sense. How much? I don't know. You know, like if you're of the camp of, well, I probably wasn't going to pull that anyway, then it might not be affecting you much. But
Yeah.
but I do think it affects the overall cost of products some.
Yeah. So I would hope to think now, again, I'm being logical, maybe not realistic, but I would hope to think that the average person that comes in a hobby shop and a very fair price on a hobby box right now would be about 375, 400. If you walk into a hobby shop, I hope you really don't think you're going to get lucky and pull the one of one Otani. That's not really driving your decision. Like if that box was 500, you would, and that hadn't been pulled yet, you would do it. And then now it's been pulled, you're like, no, that's a $200 box. I mean, I would hope. Now we talked about this last time. I love the idea. I love the idea. They're doing a great job of marketing, but I kind of like the way Upper Deck did it with the 23 different Jordans because that's going to last longer. That's going to affect the life of the product as those individuals, still massive, cool cards, get pulled. But I wish maybe Fanatics did something a little bit more like that. Like there's 12 Jeter auto patches or something, or whatever, whatever you want to throw out there, and just have it go maybe a little bit longer with the life. So yeah, Bill mentioned it kind of. Oh,
Can
what did
I
you?
throw something out real quick?
Sure.
I don't know if you can see my screen. Does it show me right now?
Yeah.
It shows you.
Okay, let me see. Okay, it's not. It's different being on this side, I guess.
Yeah. If you were here, you could.
Can you see it now?
No, still see
It
you.
says I'm sharing it. Anyway, in
Yeah.
short summary, yes, I
Yeah.
believe that card being pulled should affect prices, the market, if you will. And I want to give just one quick example. Find me anything 2018 Topps Chrome Update Baseball. It's Otani rookie cards.
Mhm.
Just browsing along, quick eBay, trying to find it. Someone, and granted, you can list anything you want for any price on eBay.
Mhm.
But for the boxes I've seen in person, a hobby box goes for a couple thousand. Bill would probably know more than me, but
Mhm.
it's that's like a reflection of that market. You want to pull an Otani
Mhm.
rookie card, okay? It's going to
Mhm.
cost you. You can't pull the one
Mhm.
of one now, so it should do the reverse, in my opinion. I mean, not
Mhm.
astronomically; they shouldn't be dirt cheap, but
Yeah.
it should still affect the market.
Well,
I,
the difference is that the Otani rookie card was a regular release card, and there's multiple different variations of that. So even if the box is a Topps box Chrome, you could get a base, you get a variation or whatever. When you talk about the one-on-ones, like those should just be those should just be the extras. That shouldn't be the other stuff because you should be buying this product right now from Jacob Mizrowski, or however you pronounce his name. You should be
Mhm.
basing it on the rookie, the future, not the current. It's nice if you hit it, like when you hit that,
Mhm.
say it was maybe $10,000, whatever. That call, you don't know what that guy's on in the future, but it's not worth $10,000 to you right now.
Mhm.
You know, it was worth it to somebody, but it wasn't you. You
Mhm.
lucky to get it and you sold it. Now, are you going to
Mhm.
regret that in 10 years? I don't know. I doubt if he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he could be, and that's the chance we take
Mhm.
with all. And then, like Mike was saying, if Fanatics took over racing and stuff like that, yeah, that'd be a problem because Fanatics, unlike Panini, keeps it really close of the vest on the profit margin. And if the profit goes up, I mean, a lot of people know this. Rob paid $11.25 for Topps Chrome Hobby direct from Topps or from Fanatics. Fanatics raised their price up because it was at $1,200 to $1,250, and they thought that was a fair margin. Well, unfortunately, when that product crumbled and now it's $650, Rob's $500 kick in the butt whenever he sells a box. Now, did Fanatics need to do that? No, they did not need to do that. They make plenty of money. But if they did that with racing, they would just wait to see if something goes up and then just mark it up. And that would cost you money on the long end, Mike, and it would cost your customer. Because I noticed with your Rip It Racing, a lot of you, it's not random boxes. You guys are doing your drivers. You collect Gordon. You collect somebody. You know, it is a collecting. It's not, I mean, people do it for money, trying to make money on stuff, I'm sure. But the majority of they collect driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Mike was going to say so. I was just going to say Bill is definitely right. If it got switched, that is something that I know you go back and redo, like let's do select again, or and every time that would, with Topps that'd be more difficult. But go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, to kind of put a bow on the whole, should the box price change or will it change? When I, in my mind anyway, when I'm thinking about these major baseball cards that got pulled and how that could affect the box prices of those, I'm thinking if a hobby box was $400, you might see the market soften enough to where now it's $350 or $375. Or if a jumbo was $550, you might see it down at $5 or $475. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking there's going to be some like major fall off. I'm just saying I think it would soften up a little bit. So that's kind of where I was at with it.
Last piece of this, and not that I disagree with anything that Bill said. I think from those that don't completely understand what Bill explained is the Apple is, hey, we advertise that if you want a chance at buying or hitting this one-of-one dual Otani card, you have to buy hobby boxes or above. That's where it's at. And the reflection of that is now, okay, what you advertised in the box is no longer available to the public in the box setting. Where the 2018 Otani rookie boxes, you're buying the box to hit the Otani rookies. That's the only side of it that I was trying to stretch out there.
Yeah, no, and you guys are right. It should take some kind of hit for sure. But the people that were coming here and gladly paying $40 for blasters and are clearing off shelves, they're still going to do that. They still got the MVP chase. They still have beautiful cards in that product, and so I think the retail, the megas, they're gonna be gone very quickly. So one other thing, and this will tie into the whatnot thing. So we're going to be getting in. I said Chrome Mega Baseball, but we're also going to be getting an Update NBA. Now, I'm going to say a couple things about it, a little bit. I don't want to say negative. I'm just going to say a couple things that are against it. And then, but we are going to mention that we are going to break an entire case. So here's my things. One would be a question. How hot do you think it's going to be? And then my answer to that is I just want to say that Topps has put a price out there that is setting a stage for how much it's going to have to be. Now, I'm not saying it's too much, especially in a break setting. This might be the ideal hobby jumbo product to break, but also there's not basketball currently. So I'm just asking your guys' opinion. How hot do you think this Update Chrome product is going to be, which is kind of a new product for them in basketball? So how hot do you think it'll be? And follow-up question, you think it's going to be fire? Okay. So Nick answered with...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, hot's an understatement, basically, is what you think?
In short term, this kind of goes back to a conversation we had a while back. when Topps is giving people what they're chasing for, there's going to be a massive surge of we want it now. We'll pay this now. I don't want to use the word unfortunately, fortunately. So it's just a spring of the moment thing. Debut patches, as we've seen, are a very sought out and chased product. So as we know, that's being included in this product. So that's why I believe we're going to get another surge of those people who in basketball haven't got to experience that side of debut patches, and now they're going to want
it. And the best rookie class in 5 to 7 years.
Yes,
for sure. So, what do you think?
The only thing I'm going to throw in is
Mike,
how much is Topps and Fanatics kicking themselves, wishing they had released update a month later? Because if they could have caught the LeBron announcement, would we have had LeBron 76ers cards in Topps Chrome update?
Yes. Yeah.
And that would have made it really probably crazy, because now you got LeBron collectors, but then you got this whole new market with Philadelphia fans.
Well, just to butt in real quick, because I caught a Mike comment about athletes being in a card of a uniform they haven't wore yet. To go back to the Topps kicking themselves, I don't think they did, because thanks to Topps now, everyone got a chance to get a LeBron 76ers card.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. So here's got 2 more questions, I guess, around this subject. So let's throw out a price point here. And now, don't hold me to this price point. This isn't any private information or anything, but this is a Google search. If hobby is $600 a box and jumbo is $1,200 to $1,300 a box, is the ideal situation for this product breaking? Just your guys' opinion.
Breaking allows it to get to the masses that can't afford that price point. Now, it's still going to be a couple of dollars a team, but people have, you still want to have skin in the game, even if you don't have skin to use. So, I mean, if it's a couple $100 a team, and you can't even get a good team. I mean, you literally have to take a crap team. You take it because you want to be able to say, hey guys, yeah, I got in a break last night. Nah, I didn't get anything really or whatever. But anyways, the bad thing is when it's 600 and 1,400, you cannot get a regular person into that price product because they can't afford the losses.
Yeah, so I guess that's for the guy that just wants to bust. That's why there's megas and blasters. That they're gonna, I ain't gonna lie, they're not part of the retail reserve or customer access program. They're not gonna be cheap. They're not gonna be cheap at all. But what do you think, Mike?
I was just going to tell you, while you guys were talking, I was literally searching on one of the retail websites, and their pre-sale for blasters is $90. So if that gives you an idea where the market is for those, yeah, it's not going to be cheap.
No, it's not. Megas are going to be 125 to 150. I would say give it a week or so. So probably better off breaking. But speaking of breaking, we will be breaking an entire case of Topps Chrome Update basketball on Whatnot next the 12th. And so if you haven't followed us at GT Sports Collect, go follow us on Whatnot, and we'll get that break up there next week. And so one last question about this product, and then we'll get off here. We've been talking about exactly an hour. So one last question. In your guys' opinion, Cooper Flag, Topps Chrome Update, rookie, is that his rookie? Meaning that he had regular Chrome rookie cards. So is the update with the rookie logo still his rookie?
So this is something that's been debated for years because
Mhm.
back into baseball. Like, for example, uh, uh, Darryl Strawberry has an 83 tops traded. Now, if you always looked in the back, it always said it was an XRT. It was an extra rookie card because it was not in a regularly issued set. Now, Topps Chrome was released. Topps Chrome updates were released. I think the Cooper Flag new card is a imposter to the real actual rookie card. And the actual rookie card is right now affordable compared to what it's going to be in this product because the price point is going to be because of the extra stuff with the logo mans and stuff like
Okay. What are you guys' thoughts?
I would defer to. I guess I would answer the question with another question, and that is, well, what is an Otani rookie? Because I've seen Otani rookies from
Mhm.
a whole bunch of different sets,
that.
and
Absolutely.
they're all considered great rookie cards. The way I
Mhm.
look at it personally is if it's got a rookie shield on the card and it's
Mhm.
from and that set was produced from that player's rookie season, then it's a rookie card.
Mhm. Okay, Nick, you're shaking your head. You agree?
To simplify it even more, I want to say yes, uh, because and now I'm not the biggest of basketball fans. Cooper Flag was a rookie this past year, right?
Yes. Yes.
He has not played a single minute in a sophomore jersey.
That is correct. And this card, this is the update labeled, 20 uh 526 or whatever, just like the first,
Correct.
series is.
So I
Yeah.
think when it comes down to is it a rookie, is it not a rookie, it just comes out of the product year, if you will. Like
Mhm.
we've seen with football, we just had Resurgence come
Mhm.
out, and despite it
Yeah.
being a month away from football, Jackson Dart's a
Mhm.
rookie in there.
Yeah. That's fair. Would you guys say that if you have this Chrome version and then you have this update version, that maybe the regular Chrome version, even though they're both rookies, would you maybe think that original release might be slightly more valuable? Could you see that, from a collector standpoint?
What we possibly could see is an upside down situation where his update is actually worth more than the regular tops because the cost of attaining. Because it'd
Yes.
be like, hey, or they all they'd have to do is start a thing going around with, hey, it's they're short printed. They're only 2 per case. Well, next thing you know,
Mhm.
Cooper Flag Tops Chrome updates are going to be $150, and his regular Tops
Mhm.
Chrome 20 to 30. So it is, and you got all your parallels, and you got like 80
Mhm.
million variations. No, I have a feeling this is going to be one of the very few situations in sports cards that the update is going to actually be more than the regular Topps Chrome release.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, guys, I think we kind of covered a lot of territory today, and we appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys jumping on and doing this, but I appreciate whoever's out there watching on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Again, this will be posted, so you would be able to go back in, start over if you just jumped on at some point. But yeah, I think this was good, and I don't know if we'll do this every week, but maybe every other week or something. Go on and kind of discuss this.
I would only thing I would add is maybe the details on the Circle Bowl show to put a bow on everything. I know we talked about the
Yes.
show, but I don't think we gave all the details as far as date, time, location.
Yes. Yeah, and Mike had a really good idea, and I dropped the ball on it of just kind of labeling, like, kind of listing who all is going to be at that show. But there is a lot of guys. We mentioned Brent Shannon is going to be there. Shannon Sports Cards. The Ball Card Show is going to be there. I have to admit, I don't know the Pokemon side well enough to know a lot of these people's names, but as well as it filled up, and as far as some people are willing to travel, I think we're going to have some, bigger dealers on that side. And, of course, we'll be set up there, and I know Rip It Racing with Mike will be set up there. And I mean, we've got a good amount. A lot of the people you saw last time, wanted back in, of course, because it was a decent show, and that is Saturday. It is 9 to Sunday. Sorry,
I thought
it is Sunday 9 to 3 this coming Sunday, and $1 gets you in the door, and it goes directly to Circleville Athletics. So that's going to be a huge benefit. Food on site, they're going to be doing like hot dogs, chips, nachos, that sort of thing. All that money is going to, all that money is going to go to, the school also. So we hoping tables, and I would not be shocked if there's another one in mid to late fall. So just throwing that out there too. So yeah. All right, guys. Thank you.
had an idea what it is.
Yeah, an idea of what it the when.
If there was another show, I wish there was somebody with insight.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when the next show is. Actually, we don't have a solid date because we debated about trying to fit in two, but I think we've decided on one. So by the end of the year. So, all right, guys. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.